What up, everybody? I'm your host, JP, and this is my co-host, Josh.
Hey, everyone.
And welcome back to another episode of the Filmbros podcast. Josh.
No,
Well,
I don't even...
It's fine. You don't have to say anything. That's cool. But can you at least tell the people first where they can talk to us? Let us know where they want us to review a movie. Support us in a big way.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Filmbros Podcast. We post new episodes are up. You can hit us up there for any news or movies you want us to cover. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout links are in those bios. Subscribers get special things, special content for subscribers only. Shout outs on episodes, so why not? And then listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. So that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, things like that.
Perfect. But yeah, and I think the most appropriate way to start this episode, at least kickstart it, is to go ahead and I'd just say downright low-key kind of humiliate. I'm going to go ahead and play this.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
He's like, yep, that's me.
So, I know we're not in a video version yet, but Stephen Amell was caught picketing over the weekend over at the SAG strikes. Now, he was out there in front of Warner Brothers Discovery out there in New York City sporting the SAG-AFTRA Strong shirt and hat after the careless use of stage time in that one video. I believe it was last week that this was quick too because it was the beginning of the week on Tuesday. I think it was that episode that we talked about it, and then we see him out on the picket line Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, he was out there.
Fucking
insane.
PR went hard at work and said,
For
"Hey,
real, they were just like, hey man, you know what you gotta do, right?" He's just like, "What?" And they're like, "You gotta go out there and picket, my guy. There's no way you're gonna recover. You already a TV actor." Like
they said either picket or put down $1 billion like The Rock. Which one you taking, Steven?
He's like, "I ain't got $1 billion." He's not making.
He's like, money. I was Green Arrow on the CW show. What the fuck you think I'm making? And why you think they're striking out there for?
They just laughed in his face. Green Arrow, my guy. No, if you don't get your ass out with the big man,
they got a good set of hands out there and a good set of quiver.
Yeah, whatever.
I just thought it was hilarious. It was kind of one of those moments that, you talk sideways, you talk out your ass just a little bit, and then consequences to your actions just come up just like this. And especially when you're in the public eye, people like us are going to notice this shit.
It's crazy that someone got a picture of him too. They're like, we ain't gonna let you forget this.
And they purposely picked that picture. I know that they hit that shutter on there, maybe got 10 pictures and they're like, this is the one. He looks
miserable.
He does look miserable.
He doesn't want to be out there for sure. But you got to do what you got to do. That PR team was working hard.
They did their best for you, man. If you would have just laid low, I'm waiting to see Zachary Levi out there.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for him. He's going to be one of the speakers. I didn't mean it.
That's going to be the funniest one for me.
Shazam will lead them to victory, let me tell you.
Imagine he has to be out there in the picket line, and right there next to him is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Black Adam.
Nah, man. He paid $1 billion.
Yeah,
he got out of that
he's not
shit.
Gonna be
There's
out there.
no way.
I was just saying, that would be like Black Adam and Shazam in real life, at least for once. In some parallel multiverse, I guess.
Working together
to beat the studios and whatnot. It is what it is, though. I just wanted to kind of make it known that he is out in the picket line. So he's not just out there talking shit. At least he went out there in the picket line. Whatever. If this is the way of him making amends, I guess we got to take it, right?
Basically,
we'll take what we can get. Still a few people not showing their face, but I mean, we heard they made donations, so that we'll give them a little bit more time. But somebody who's working overtime is Warner Brothers Discovery, James Gunn, Gal Gadot. All these rumors coming out now. This topic right here is a tall order because I just find it to be very in bad taste. But I mean, what can you expect from DC at this point? It just seems, in my opinion, same shit, different studio at this point. So, last week on Thursday, they put out an interview that Gal Gadot did for her new movie, Heart of Stone, talking to Flaunt magazine. This was a pre-recorded one. This was before the strike happened and everything, so this was just waiting to be released.
Yeah.
and where she said and decided to comment on her future as Wonder Woman because they were asked if she can offer any details describing her meeting with Peter Safran and James Gunn. She went ahead and said, I was invited to a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran. They told me, and I'm quoting, she said, I'm quoting,
Yeah.
You're in the best hands. We're going to develop Wonder Woman 3 with you. We love you as Wonder Woman. You've got nothing to worry about, so time will tell. That got everybody in a frenzy. We had motherfuckers happy that Wonder Woman was coming back and staying, Gal Gadot. We got motherfuckers saying, reboot the whole DCU.
Fuck.
Why are you guys cherry picking?
Yeah.
Caused a big blunder. Caused a knee-jerk reaction from the studio. Not the CEO of DC Studios, but from, I believe, the studio themselves. Now, before I get into this and we listen to the studio's rebuttal, because I kind of find it in poor taste, how did you feel when you heard that Wonder Woman could have, or Gal Gadot could have potentially been in the new DCU?
Well, I thought it was bittersweet because as like I said before, as much as I like her, I don't know if I want her in the hands of James Gunn and company.
Well, because of the way, well, I don't know how they would utilize her, to be honest. Because I was gonna say maybe like how Shazam happened and everything, but I'm assuming that's all under Hamada's regime.
Yeah, well, kind of, sort of. Shazam obviously had a James Gunn feel to it by the end of it with Harcourt, and then the Flash, obviously, I would put that under James as well, considering of how much development that movie was in.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I want them touching Gal's Wonder Woman because I still kind of enjoy her, and when I go back and rewatch, I just like she's one of my favorite things about the Trinity. But I don't know. I was kind of like, oh, this is cool, but at the same time, I was just like, I don't know if I want her in their hands like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because here's my POV when it comes to at least this Trinity. I would say Cavill, Ben Affleck, and Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say they were good under Zack Snyder's hands, and I think under anybody else's hands, they're just not their heroes. So I don't know if they're able to really capture or recapture that light, because Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman in the later cuts, in the later movies, wasn't the Wonder Woman in BVS and Zack Snyder's Justice League, I'd say. That Wonder Woman was completely, or in the first Wonder Woman.
The first one that was definitely.
Yeah. So, to me, I just feel like rebooting the whole thing would have been better. When I heard the news, I was just like, I'd rather just reboot everything. Don't even bring her back. I would have liked it better if she was just a producer on there, somebody that can mentor the next Wonder Woman or whatever, you know. Unfortunately, I love her as Wonder Woman, but I think not under Zack Snyder really hurts these actors and these characters.
It's kind of like giving like a collector's item to like a little kid and then just watching them, go ham with it, I guess. Yeah. Like it's distasteful, and you'd be like, fuck, like give it back. It
was mint condition.
Yeah, like it was good in my hands, and then I gave it to this kid knowing they'd probably fuck it up. But I would need to see something really captivating from them if they were to bring her back, because I like something that could live up, obviously not to her performance in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but at the first one at least, because the first one for her set the bar. At
least something that will give us a classy Wonder Woman, a warrior Wonder Woman. Exactly. Because I don't think, like I said, Zack Snyder's and BVS, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that she can't do good under somebody else's watch. It's just they have to have that vision, in my opinion, and you can tell when they got rid of the sword is when she really started changing up, because she wasn't this warrior fighter anymore. She was just this goddess stopping crime, basically. And so I really thought it was a disservice towards the end, so I would have personally just wanted her as a producer. Yeah. 100%. But a source on the inside gave Variety an exclusive scoop. Like, James Gunn didn't come out about this. Peter Safran didn't come out about this. The studio sent somebody else to do their dirty laundry. And this is what basically came out from this insider. He says, a third Wonder Woman film is not in development at DC Studios, nor do Gunn and Safran have plans at this time for any Wonder Woman project in the new DC universe other than their previously announced Paradise Lost prequel series for Max. So Paradise Lost is the only Wonder Woman project that James Gunn has in store.
Yeah.
This is what the insider is saying.
Mm-hmm.
No Wonder Woman was discussed, nothing at all. James Gunn didn't tweet about this, and you know he's active on the Twitters.
Yeah.
You know he is. You can't say he's not, because you know he is. I don't know why I got a country accent, but I'm going to go with it.
Yeah.
You know he's active on the Twitters. We know that he's had conversations with her.
Yeah.
Because he came out about it and tweeted it himself.
Mm-hmm.
That was his fault. Back in the day, you remember that.
I do, yeah.
He said that, I think people asked him, like, is she leaving? I don't have the exact tweets, but they asked if she's leaving. He said no, that we love her.
Yeah.
And then they asked again for reassurance, and then he wound up saying something along the lines that, no, we had a meeting with her, and everything's good, or something like that. Yeah. So,
that it was a Patty Jenkins thing. It wasn't a Gal Gadot thing.
Yeah, it wasn't between them. Actually, I think I have the tweets right here. Oh, yeah. He says, yes, we met with her weeks ago. And then in another tweet, looking forward to the tweeter said, looking forward to new projects, but I am disappointed you guys let Henry and Gal go, but still have Ezra around. He's a knucklehead, while Henry and Gal have done it all right. Just makes no sense to me. And then he replied to that Twitter user saying, we didn't let Gal go. Ezra's movie is already made. Henry doesn't fit what I have for Superman. But didn't really clarify on the stance with Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Mm.
Now, I want to hear your take, but I'm going to paint the big picture, okay? On why James Gunn is a fucking liar. Okay. And why he should probably not be the head of DC Studios right now. So, one, we go back to hit the Henry Cavill situation, all right? But I guess we can't really... That one, I don't know. What do you think? Henry Cavill, he was hired by the old regime. Yeah. Didn't have no plans, no contracts. Mm-hmm. He jumped ship from The Witcher to play this Superman. Yes. But there was no contracts in hand, and James Gunn booted him out. Mm-hmm. Regardless of what James Gunn said, he knew that Henry Cavill was set to come back, and he still said no. Fired him. Yeah, this is not what I want. He fired him. I wouldn't say the word fired because he was never hired. He didn't have a contract, so there's no firing or hiring with that. But I mean, if you think it was a firing,
yeah, no, he fired him.
So do you think
Henry, you're old? Get out of my office! Like
exactly, spits in his face.
Exactly how I imagine that shit went down.
Damn, not to Superman.
We're gonna need the cape back.
He's gonna be like, damn, the one that you had in your closet for about 5, 6, 7 years.
I'm gonna need that back.
Yeah, give it back. So whatever side on the aisle you stand on with Henry Cavill, James Gunn did him dirty with that.
Yeah,
we have now. Recently, we talked about it a few episodes ago. So if you guys want to check it out, we also have David Ayer coming out saying the same thing, that his cut's gonna be coming out
at some point.
But we didn't hear nothing at all either with this Gal Gadot thing. What else did he lie about? Black Adam. He didn't promote it. He didn't do any. Maybe we can let that pass because that wasn't his movie. It wasn't part of his regime. But he was head of DC Studios like about a week later after it launched.
Yeah.
And he said nothing to promote it. Mm-hmm. He actually made Dwayne Johnson go out and backpedal his speech about it being phase 1.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you what do you make of this situation?
Well, I just think his credibility is off because I have no doubt that what Gal said is what happened.
He said she quoted.
That's why
it's quoted. So you think that she actually said that shit?
That they actually had the meeting.
Okay.
And James was probably just lying through his fucking teeth to her, if anything, because he's just
smiling, shaking her hand,
like, "Oh, don't worry, you're in the best of hands. We'll get it done somewhere down the line." Like, and then that's his safe door. That's his back gate.
Inside of his shoes, his toes were crossed.
Yeah, the homie was just like, I can't do it. I imagine that, they had this whole thing set up, ready, and they had this meeting for sure. And then I believe that now they're backpedaling Because now they're just like, no, we only told her that to save face. She's out of a job. You know, we just can't tell her. You know what I mean?
So you think James Gunn looked her in the face, knowing damn well nothing was going to be developed, and said, yes, you're going to have a movie here.
Yep. That's exactly how I feel.
Okay. My POV would say that he did that in hopes to see how the other movies did, because she was sprinkled around, right? Shazam, Shazam 2, The Flash. Where else she made a cameo at? She made another cameo somewhere else recently. As Wonder Woman?
Shazam and The Flash. That's it.
Just those two?
Yeah.
After 84?
Yeah.
Okay, so he saw how badly the box office was for 84, so I think that one could have been a coin flip and been like, was it Patty Jenkins? Was it Gal Gadot? And I think because he sprinkled her out through a couple other movies, I think they wanted to see if it was going to, basically what they did with Henry Cavill. Was that 10-second little cameo going to draw money in for the studio? And to me, that's still setting up for failure, because nobody's going to go into a movie for 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know which one's worse, but that's kind of my POV. Do you can kind of see it? You kind of see what I'm trying to paint?
I see what you're saying, but yeah, no, that's still awkward as shit, because like we didn't. The rumors around Shazam were that, oh no, Gal's not in it. It's just a stunt double and it has homie's face on her. What do you call it? That surprise ending or whatever, or at least it was a surprise to me. I don't know if any scoopers dropped it, but that ending where she shows up and Billy's like, hey, I'll catch you later or whatever, and she's just like, just worry about saving the world, like that threw me off guard. Yeah, it was cool seeing her for me, but that threw me off guard, and I went to go see that movie not expecting her. You know what I mean? I was just expecting that scene with the head and that shit to piss me off, and that was it. And we knew she was in The Flash, and while amongst other things I wasn't going to see it, for her, I was glad to see her. Granted, I don't like the last bit of it, but good. It was good to see her again
for a little bit.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say I spent all of my money just so I can see her 10-second cameos. That's not how that works. That's not what you go into a movie for at all. If you're only going in for cameos, soups, that's how you fail. Yeah.
That well said. Like I said, regardless, if I still think it's dirty on my end, I think it helps build kind of like that I'm not so evil kind of look. The way I put it, it's kind of like, oh, it's business. You didn't draw money in, Yeah. Where yours is kind of more,
I honestly really believe he bullshitted. And, he's always on Twitter. So he could have easily been like, oh, yeah, I said this, but I didn't mean it, immediately or something.
And I think that's why she quoted him. I think that's why she quoted him. I think if she would have just said willy-nilly, it would have just been kind of like it's still a he said, she said kind of situation, but her saying and pulling out straight quotes and him not saying anything
caught him red-handed.
Because that he would have came out and debunked it or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. This is obviously a he said, she said, but it's two birds with one stone. If she's going down, he's going down with her.
Basically.
And so this like I said, to me, it just proves that he's a fucking liar. And the only way he's not going to prove that he's a fucking liar is now at this point, at this juncture, because like I said, he promised two things right as of right now. We've heard that Ayer promised something, right? We didn't get a response from that either. He tweeted it out. It made Variety News. We talked about it as a topic. Yeah. Nothing. Silence from it. Wonder Woman 3, nothing. Silence. But we can get an inside source talking about how she's not actually coming back, right? So one or the other is gonna give, and if you had to choose Wonder Woman 3 or Ayer cut, he's gonna have to do something. If he had to do something,
I would choose the Ayer cut.
Ayer cut,
yeah.
Just let Wonder Woman be done.
Honestly, yeah. Unfortunately, because again, as much as I love her, I know I'll have better time watching the first one or her BVS or Zack Snyder's Justice League, just so I can get my fix of her Wonder Woman. But the Ayer cut deserves to be seen for sure.
Okay, and I feel that.
I know people are always just like, oh, how do you know it's better and this is that? And I go, we don't know it's better, but we should be able to make that decision after watching the full product. That's what was happening with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, how do you know it's good? How do you know it's better? I go, well, we haven't seen it. We've only gotten the bastardized version of it.
Yeah.
How do we not? We don't know if it's good or not. We should still be able to see the product and then judge. Hey, this is actually really good shit. With Zack Snyder's Justice League, is leagues above Justice League.
Yeah.
Like, we should have that comparison too with David Ayer's cut. And that's just how I feel. If Wonder Woman was done dirty and you know, Patty Jenkins came out and was like, "Oh no, that's not my movie. This is not mine. Had more of a Zack Snyder's feel to it. This and that." Then, you know, that campaign would have started a long time ago. But since '84 kind of sucked, and we know Patty Jenkins isn't coming back for a third one, like, we know that was all her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She made those stupid ass decisions.
Yeah. And then, I mean, supposedly Gal's acting wasn't really rocking in that one either, but I don't know. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter that was bashing her acting. I don't think she's a bad actor, though. I don't think she's a bad actor. I think her accent is pretty heavy. I think that's one thing that really holds her back.
If people are only like, "Oh no, she's a bad actor," it's only, I honestly, yeah, her accent is thick, but how can you change that? You know what I mean?
No, you can't. I mean, unless she takes like English lessons.
Oh,
but I would say for her, for the allegations to kind of stop, I would say take a little bit of acting classes that can help her break through her accent, because all her roles, I think that's what's wrong with it, is that all her roles, she has that heavy Israeli accent that she has. So you can't really separate, you know, the acting from the accent, really. It's really hard. So you have to kind of be able to switch it. You know, a lot of people switch it up. Leonardo DiCaprio, he goes from English to British to
racist.
To racist. It's just one of those things that I think she just needs that range for. Otherwise, she's always going to be known as just the actress.
I never thought she was a bad actress.
I don't think she's bad. I just think she needs to work on the accent. That's it. Be able to change her voice a little bit. You know, be able to sound like a regular girl or like an American girl or something. You know,
something, I guess,
to be able to spice it up. Because I mean, how can I know she was like. Well, I guess she could play like the Australian Barbie or whatever. I know that they were wanting her to be in the Barbie movie, but I was like,
Wonder Woman Barbie?
Yeah, she would have to be, in my opinion, like, I assume all Barbies are like, like uppity type shit.
I've never.
Like white girl type shit, right?
Probably.
Am I?
I have no idea.
Am I tweaking?
How would I know about that?
I don't know.
I don't know
well, you're the one who wanted to see Barbie.
Well, yeah,
I would assume that you would had a little bit like of knowledge behind the Barbie stuff.
I wanted to see it, yeah, but I'd imagine they all kind of act like how they were, just like
like bubbly, stuff like that. That's what I'm saying.
Joyful things like that, yeah.
Yeah, and I know that she can do that because you see her in interviews. She's very like energetic.
Oh man, I watched her in Hot Ones. Yeah, she's exactly like that.
Yeah, so she's very like, calm down over there. Calm down.
You what? I've only seen it.
No. It's the hard eyes.
No, mom.
It's like
I can't help it if I
my
her.
Boy, my boy said, I seen her at Hot Ones.
Actually, she did some gross shit in there because like she couldn't take the spice, so she started spitting. I was like, Gal, get yourself together.
No, yeah. I even told because me and Julie were watching it together, and when she spit up and everything, I was like, that's nasty. I was like, that's not even, I thought it was just a little too much.
I was like, get it together.
She like took it out of her mouth at one point. I was like, yeah, no, don't. I was like, that's just my own personal preference, though. I don't know. That was kind of nasty. But yeah, I'd say the Ayer cut too, though. I would want the Ayer cut. Yeah. I just think Wonder Woman Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, like I said, I think her time has passed. I think she's better with a different director for sure. It shows that she shined at one point as this actress, and now she's just kind of on this like world tour, on this movie world tour where she just kind of makes a cameo here and there, and she used to be like
front and center.
We gave her a whole third act in a movie that wasn't even hers.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, man. Like she was a badass. She was a badass. And it's gonna suck to see her go, but I don't want her to keep being done dirty either.
Yeah.
But if James Gunn needs to honor his word though. We need to see an Ayer cut, we need to see Wonder Woman 3.
Something.
One of those two.
Something to Show us your money, your word, man. You've been real fucking quiet lately.
Real fucking quiet. Like, the silent type. For whatever reason, too.
Your brother is the one making himself look like a fool, pointing fingers at the wrong people. Like, make it make sense, man.
Yeah. James Gunn has yet to come out about any of this stuff. At all. Like, he just is, like, slinking away.
Basically.
Fucking in the snake in the grass type shit. It's weird.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
it's weird for a head studio to do that, and especially because didn't he say himself that he wanted this studio to be different, more transparent with people, to let people know like what they're cooking and all that stuff, so they can rest assured type stuff. And
I think it was only a few days ago when he promoted the Blue Beetle for tickets. Tickets went on sale, and he was like, "Go get them," on his Twitter, and that was about it. That was like the last tweet, I think, and that was literally the movie comes out in like a few days.
Let me see if he liked anything recently, because if this boy just out here liking stuff,
he's just in shadow mode, just liking people's posts. That'd be funny.
He liked something a day ago. The man who laughs. He liked a Blue Beetle promotion from David Ayer, saying that Blue Beetle is very, very good. He said it's a very good movie. He liked all the Blue Beetle buzz, all the positive like Blue Beetle what is it called, reviews.
Yeah,
on Twitter. He just likes a lot of Blue Beetle stuff now.
Yeah, but he isn't actually promoting, which is insane.
Yeah.
Oh, James, get your shit together, my man.
Yeah, or
this ship is heading for an iceberg quickly.
God. All this drama for what? For what? For what? All he needs to do. The DC universe. 100% reboot. Nobody's staying. If an actor or actress comes back to play a different role that's different, but they're not gonna be. There's no Idris Elba Bloodsport here. You know. There's no. You know what I mean. There's no John Cena Peacemaker here. Unless they want to be like, oh, this is a variant. If he really wants to go down that road, he could probably do that too. But that would just be, that still be like kind of like a middle finger.
That's why it's tough to even navigate where this bitch is going. Because yeah, fresh Batman, fresh Superman, probably a fresh Flash. Aquaman is now Lobo. What else? Peacemaker's still around. Amanda Waller's still around. But we don't know how that works because the Flash fucked up the timeline or whatever the fuck. And then so on and so forth. Oh, his wife is still around. Like, we it's hard to navigate this bitch because he just keeps picking instead of just rebooting. This is why confusing comments like this exist. Because at least if you were like, oh no, we're rebooting. She'll get a third Wonder Woman down the line, not connected to my stuff, but somewhere down the line she'll get it. You could just be like, okay, that would make sense. But no, now you're telling us that we're probably going to get a Wonder Woman project with her again, depending. Is she part of your new Trinity? Like, why? Like, what? Like, now we have more questions of just like, how come she stayed, but now you got those people that are just like, well, she stayed. Henry didn't stay. Affleck didn't stay. You called them old. You hired a 50-year-old Green Lantern. Like, make it make sense.
They didn't even, like, in this comment or anything. It doesn't even say like, oh, she's mistaken. It doesn't say, oh, they're be in touch with her.
The whistleblower was just like, nope, this is what they said.
Yeah,
they didn't say shit. No.
Yeah, what a dirty deed. What a dirty deed. But either way, like I said, always follow along because we're gonna go and bust open this DC drama straight on its head every single time. And I like to make sure that I let people know how James Gunn's a fucking liar. Because at this point, I was excited for his DC. His projects. I can still say that I'm not gonna judge him by his actions when it comes to his projects as of yet. Because I understand as a CEO, you got to make hard decisions. You got to do some ballsy shit in order to play in the leagues like that. It sucks that the public eye is on him. Because I mean, when Fahey was going through his shit too, it wasn't. You know, when the whole Victoria Alonso shit or whatever, you know, Fahey's always quiet. So you know that he's just CEO business. Yeah. When James Gunn is tweeting about it and picking and choosing what he wants to talk about, and you're no longer being a CEO, you're now becoming an influencer, like I said before, and people are gonna take what you say for face value, and then that's when you're gonna make enemies where they can't separate the fuckery that you do as a CEO from the movie, and they're not gonna want to watch the movie because you're a shady fucking person.
Yeah,
you know, I think it's despicable. It's crazy. I want to see what happens next with that. But moving on, we will be seeing what happens next with another Predator movie, Prey movie. I for one love Prey. That came out on Hulu back in 2020, I believe, 2021, something like that. Am I tripping? 2020, 2021? No confirmation from you.
Is that not a 2022 movie? Could have sworn.
Could be a 2022. No, that seems too recent. No, trying to see if it says right or something.
Wasn't it on? No, it had to be because I remember putting it on our 2022 ranking. No.
No, I don't know. I can't even.
I will tell you right now.
Yeah, tell me right now. Quick.
Hold up, wait, damn.
We got lightning fast Wi-Fi.
No. Oh, you want me to actually look it up? Okay.
Well, yeah, just type in Prey.
Okay. Yeah, 2022. I was right.
Oh, 2022?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Came out like mid 2022.
Yeah, came out 2022. Apparently the director himself has been having what he says exciting conversations on a new Predator movie. Talking to the playlist, the director says, I can't really say anything about the project right now, but I'll say while we're finishing the movie, we were having really exciting conversations. The studio, myself, the writer, and the producers about the crazy things we could do next, and I never stopped. No one stopped thinking about the cool things we could be doing going forward. And then they asked him whether or not it will be a streaming movie, and he says, no comment. I answered the question, somewhat answered part of the question, gotta allow me that, and then left it at that. Yeah, it makes more sense that it came out in 2022 because that movie is pure hype. I just watched it literally this morning. I rewatched it, and that movie is immaculate. I need a physical copy of that movie. They haven't even like put it on DVD or anything like that, but conversations are happening. I know that was probably back in like 2021, maybe early 2022 when they were wrapping up the film to get it to premiere. Right now we're in a strike, so we're not getting any development as of right now. But I know if the director's saying that, hey, things are moving, we're getting it done, he just means that right now we're in the middle of
stages.
Huh?
It's like in the early stages.
It's in the early stages. But no, it sounds like they're probably like in pre-production because we did hear about the Alien project that's coming out from Fede Alvarez that's going to be on the Hulu channel as well, with basically straight to streaming as well. So I'm sure they're probably trying to think of a way that they can do that whole Alien and Predator type shit because they've been expanding on the whole Predator mythos through like Marvel Comics now.
Oh yeah, he fought Wolverine in a recent comic, which is insane.
Yeah, so they're spreading it out. They're making more things known, and we've seen that this movie or this concept, Predators and stuff, can really be used in a different way. So I'm actually excited for a Prey 2. I've been waiting. Yeah.
It could be cool. Could be interesting. I'm not too sure about where they could take it. I didn't even think they were going to take it back where they did with Prey. Same thing with Alien. I know Alien is a lot more like futuristic, nuanced type stuff. Like a lot of people, like that's what kind of their movies were based on, from the first one all the way to the recent one with what's his name? Magneto.
Oh, Michael Fassbender.
Mm-hmm. So it was cool that they clashed way back when. I don't know if a clashing would be beneficial now. You know, maybe build them up. They've kind of been asleep for a minute.
Yeah.
Trying to get their lore together or whatever. But I can see them coming together. What I think would be interesting is if like they kind of did what they did with Alien, but do a Predators in the future and like make it like cyberpunk type shit. Like get like humans with cybernetics, make them like that, and then have them duke it out, because by that time humans have advanced and they're better prey at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would want to see something like that.
Yeah, they just got to do something different with the Alien franchise. No more of this space voyage, aliens rampaging on the ship type shit. Like, let's expand it.
Yeah.
Let's go into a planet where there's aliens and you got to survive there in their habitat or something like that. Just something different. That kind of what they did with Prey. They did something different. I think it was fresh. It was new. It wasn't that the same thing. A group is being hunted one by one by the predator. It's one solo person. You see their arc, and the villain is the predator. He's just hunting and killing shit just for the fuck of it, for his fun, while this girl's over here building her skills up, whooping her ass. And I already know. Oh, how was she able to beat the predator? Blah 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 blah. Whatever. The movie is great. She did it. She did a great job with it, and it makes total sense. If you don't think so, rewatch that shit. It makes total sense. It's great. It's a great watch.
Yeah, no, it is a good movie. I just hope this Alien movie can bring in the freshness, just like Prey did.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that they could, like if they do this and they say straight to streaming, they can probably do that whole Alien Predator universe on streaming on Hulu. And you know how big of if it launches, you know how big of a price tag that will have? Imagine a Prey movie, a Alien movie, a Prey movie, and then it's eventually they're going to meet up and fucking
duke it out again.
And not be Alien vs. Predator like part 2, the Requiem or whatever, but a good Alien vs. Predator.
Yeah. Yeah, could be cool.
Maybe during the time of the Vikings.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be tough as shit.
Yeah.
Kill someone with a bunch of sticks.
It'd be nice. It'd be great. Oh, what if like they make an Alien movie in like Japan or something? Samurai,
that would be crazy.
With aliens, that'd be cool. Wow. Hire me. Moving on though, a sequel in the works that we don't really want is Uncharted. Producer coming out giving us an update, I guess, on a sequel. He was asked the question by the Hollywood Reporter, what about the Uncharted franchise, right? He basically came out and said, oh yeah, we had a really good time with that movie. The fans really liked the movie. People who didn't know anything about the game liked the movie. So we are definitely looking to make another one of those. And that's obviously because of the box office success that this movie had. But I'd say it was a fluke. And not just because it was a fluke, but it was because, one, Tom Holland was in the name. All right. I think that Tom Holland really attracted tickets.
Yeah.
And two, people just wanted to see the outcome of how it was going to be. I think by the end of its run, it only made like about 400 mil.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even a shit ton, but it was good for the budget that it had. I think it only had like $110 million budget or something like that.
Yeah.
So for the budget it had, it was really good. The movie itself was not. So I'm pretty sure the second one won't do too well if they go down this route, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
Fans?
Honestly.
This movie had fans?
I hear nobody talking about it.
Yeah, there ain't no way this movie had fans. He's bullshitting hard. And if people who didn't know about the games enjoyed it, yeah, it's because they didn't know about the fucking games and how superior they are and how shit the decision to cast Tom Holland was.
So maybe those were the fans.
Yeah, like, if you had any, it's because they're clueless. They should play a good game once in a while. I really think that, like, this movie just missed its mark. I'm not too sure about a sequel. It feels unnecessary. I didn't even know this movie fucking succeeded.
But go off.
I just think a sequel is irrelevant at this point. It shouldn't be a thing.
What are they going to do? Spoiler alert. They're going to bring in his brother?
Fuck.
They basically ran through all three of the games.
Basically.
So they're just going to jump to the fourth one?
They're just gonna start making shit up.
Yeah, no. This adaptation was not good. I waited for it to show up on Netflix, and when I watched it on Netflix, it disappointed me. I couldn't even get like enjoyment to be like, oh, at least it was a streaming movie, you know? Like I got some kind of something out of this movie. Nope. By the end of it, I was numb.
Yeah, no, not very good. This movie doesn't deserve a sequel, I don't think, and yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought you were a fan. I thought you were a fan because you're a Tom Holland fan.
Who told you that?
Huh?
Who told you that?
Huh?
Who told you that?
You said that.
When did I say that?
You said Tom Holland Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man, and Tom Holland's the best actor.
Now I know you're smoking that pack because I have never said that shit once.
You didn't say that?
No.
I thought you said his trilogy was the best trilogy.
There is no universe where I would have said that shit, knowing I'm a big Toby fan. You ass.
well, good thing we're talking about it anyways because we got confirmation from Jon Watts himself about the original trilogy that happened within the MCU with Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I know you Uncharted fans said, "Oh no, you guys moved away from that topic too quick." No, we didn't, because this is where the real juicy conversation happens. Uncharted is not a good movie. Don't watch it. Moving on. Jon Watts confirms that his threequel, the first three movies in the MCU for Spider-Man, was basically an origin story all along from the jump. So he was asked about No Way Home, saying that No Way Home, because a lot of fans apparently, I didn't see anybody do that. I don't know if this was around the time the movie dropped or whatever, but I guess a lot of people were saying that the third movie was basically Spider-Man's origin story. Where Jon Watts continues to say that that's not the case. It's actually all of them. He says in this quote right here, when doing Homecoming, the discussions were always about how do we do something you haven't seen before with Peter Parker. That steers you down a couple different paths and leads you to doing things like having his best friend find out his identity and having his aunt find out, and then at the end of the last movie having the whole world find out. He says that all three films eventually came together to serve as a collective origin story for No Way Home, effectively serving as the end of the beginning. In the end, it was nice to be able to have everything coexist into, at its essence, the simple story of Spider-Man. We just really all took our time telling the first issue of Spider-Man that origin story.
Sounds like bullshit to me. There is no way that was the plan. I saw this theory going around on TikTok where they were like, "Oh, no, you don't get it. It's the whole trilogy was it." And then Jon Watts was like, "Oh, that's a good idea." He picked it up and ran with it. That is not the case here. There is no way he thought of that shit.
You don't think that's what happened?
Nope.
You don't feel like by No Way Home it was the birth of like actual Spider-Man?
No Way Home felt like an origin story. The other two were not. were not it.
Wasn't it you yourself? Sorry. Hold on. Wasn't it you yourself who said that Peter Parker learned nothing throughout his three movies? That he just, at the end of everything.
Yeah, he didn't.
He didn't, right?
Yeah. That doesn't make it his origin.
So that makes all three movies his origin story.
No.
Because he learned some things. Like in the first one, he learned how to be Spider-Man. He learned how to be Spider-Man without the suit that Tony had gave him, right? Was able to mentor himself. And the second one, he dealt with loss and grief. Was able to, persevere past the pain and be Spider-Man regardless of everything, right? And then in the third one, same thing. He loses everything and comes out as the Spider-Man that we're supposed to know, struggling, going to college, doing all this stuff. We really like to see Peter Parker struggle, but you don't see that this could be the case?
No, ain't no way. The Homecoming and Far From Home, they were trying to teach him the exact same lesson. There's no way.
What was the lesson?
Responsibility. That's it. How did you be responsible with your power? Oh, Peter in Homecoming. I just wanna help the Avengers. I just want to do this. Nah, Peter, stick to the ground. Okay, sure. By the end of it, he does that. If you're nothing without this suit, you're nothing at all, is what Stark tells him. And eventually, by that point, yeah, in his own suit, in his own little not tidy whities, in his own pajamas, That's when it gets decent. I'll admit that's fine. And the second one, he's dealing with the loss of Tony, and so on and so forth.
Okay.
He's learning responsibility again.
No.
Yes. How do you be responsible for glasses that control AI? Oh, this responsibility is too big, he decides. Gives it to someone he just met. gives it to Beck, and then I'm not done. Gives it to Beck, and then that plays out the best way, and then he decides, and then now in the third one he deals with those consequences. And then the third one is where he finally sticks it, and then I can admit the third one is like an origin story, but the first two, no, there's no way.
Close, you almost had it right. So the first one deals with, yes, being responsible and not being a teenage kid and being more of an adult and taking more adult tasks. That's what we kind of seen happen within Infinity War. That's why, regardless, he was still acting like a kid, still dealing with it, and he went out into space when he was told not to, whatever. But by the end of the first one, he learned how to be a mature Spider-Man, to be able to, learn to do things a bit on his own. He was still crutched by Tony Stark up until, obviously, Endgame. And then, by Far From Home, he's dealing with the loss, the grief, whatever. By the end of that movie, he's learning how to deal without the crutch. He needs to, no longer is he in training wheels. Now he is being able to either walk on his own pace and then sprint like he's supposed to, and then we see what happens by the end of the movie. And then yes, he has to deal with the repercussions of those actions. So it's basically like Far From Home and No Way Home is like a two-parter. It basically goes to the next movie and he deals with all those problems and issues, and then finally he becomes the Spider-Man that he needs to be, the grown-up Spider-Man, where he lets everything subside and say, I need to do what's right for the city, for the people. With great power comes great responsibility, and lets everything go. The end. Spider-Man origin story.
No, the like I said, the last one makes sense. I'm with you there. But the first two, he was repeating the process. He was basically just rinse, washing, repeat. There's no way in hell that this was the idea from the jump. That is not how I felt. Because even if you want to take it back to Civil War. He understood responsibility. He didn't say it. He didn't outright say it because that was the big problem. Oh, we don't want to hear Uncle Ben say it again. This and that. So what does he tell him in Civil War? He goes, when you have the powers I have, what do you call it? When you have the powers I have and you don't do something or whatever, then that's your fault or something like that. It basically sums up, with great power comes with great responsibility. Yeah. So he understood that concept in Civil War. You're telling me he went through 2 movies to relearn that same concept before the third one sticks, where he loses his Aunt May, probably to be his Uncle Ben? It doesn't work. There's no way that was the plan from the jump.
The whole time, it's not the fact that he has a problem with the concept or he doesn't know what great power becomes great responsibility means. It's the concept of growing up and being this mature human being, growing into your own, being able to, be let go, basically, and become Spider-Man. Everything else is obviously the things that he needs to go through. There's just different strokes for different folks. But that saying in the Civil War, it was just showing you that he has that sense of morality, that he knows that he needs to use his powers for good, which he does, but he does it in an askew manner. What do you think happens in Homecoming? He wrecks a bunch of shit. Things break. He causes a lot of things, and then by the end of it, he still breaks a lot of shit because of the plane, but he learns a lesson, okay? And he says, you know what? I'm not going to take this suit just because you're giving it to me, Tony Stark. I'm going to try to earn it. And then in Infinity War, I feel like he was still giving it to him anyways, but that was a different director. Moving on to Far From Home. By that one, obviously he's dealing with the grief and the loss. So by then, it's just learning to live without the crutch.
No, it's not the same thing.
He still has that sense of morality because of what he was told and how he was raised. But I think in this universe, obviously, that Uncle Ben didn't give him that saying. It was Aunt May in this one. And it didn't happen until the very end of his origin trilogy.
No.
Boom, bang, bow.
No. Those 2 movies are... No, there's no way.
I could see it as a trilogy of origin.
No.
I can see it that way.
Yeah, well, you're blind, so... No, but...
Bobby? No, I can't see you, Bobby.
But what do you call it? It's, no. There's no way that was the plan from the jump. I think he just heard this floating around as a theory, and then that's when he was like, "No, yeah, that was the plan the whole time."
So it's not. So is it the fact that this movies didn't play out that way, or is it the fact that he didn't plan this since the jump? Because you're saying,
well, wait, if he didn't plan it from the jump, isn't that just not planning it accordingly?
well, if he didn't plan it from the jump, but then it so happened to line up that way, it's kind of like, well, I'm gonna take credit for it because it just so happened to line up that way. Whereas if he planned it from the jump, then he can say, hey, I've been doing this for, obviously, the beginning, we wrote this the way that we wanted to do it.
It's the first one.
It's the taking the credit when it probably wasn't done that way since the jump.
Yeah.
You might be right.
Like,
you might be right. I can probably give you that.
Because even by the second one, people were like, nah, man, like, we don't want this. We never, because Far From Home is arguably the worst one in the trilogy.
Why do people say that?
Well, no,
why do people say that?
That's
do
just
say that?
no. That's just
that?
popular. That's just opinion. That's just what I see on Twitter.
You say that?
That's just what I see on Twitter. I'm
Answer
not gonna.
Do you say that?
No, I'm not gonna answer that.
Yeah, no, you have to answer it because content.
Yeah, it's. I would say it's the worst one.
It's the worst one.
Yeah.
But is that? Do you feel the same way? Is because they repeat offendery with the Homecoming?
Yes. And some things in Far From Home I don't really fuck with, but
elaborate.
Okay. Well, again,
I know I'm throwing you kind of off.
But
it's
the same concept. But yeah, before I get back to my point, it's the same concept of the first one. It's just they decided, oh, the first one was a little too different. We got to go back to his roots. So how do we do that? We also have to run with the big grander scheme of Tony being dead and pushing Peter past that. So he decides out of nowhere he has a crush on MJ. What do you call it? Aside from all the Tony Stark stuff, he meets Beck, who plays him like a fool, which is in his character. I'm not gonna be mad at that. Jake Gyllenhaal did really go with what he could, but that is on par for Beck, I guess. And then the responsibility stuff, so on and so forth. Hey, don't be like Tony, but use his tech to build your suit type shit. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of why this one kind of falls short for me. Jake Gyllenhaal does give a good performance in it. That's probably the only reason why I would go back and rewatch this movie.
Hot take: you don't like this movie, okay? Only because it's not set in New York City.
No.
100%.
There's no way.
You want to know why?
Taking him out of New York is fun.
No.
I can admit,
because I'll tell you right now, you're one of those people right now, and I'm going to tell you exactly what people you are. You're one of those people that is like, ooh, that's too different.
No.
I don't like that. That is way too out of left field. We need to bring this back. I swear to you, if all those events happened in New York City, you would have been like, it's perfectly fine.
Way, no.
But the fact that they changed venue and they had to wound up going to Italy and then to London after that.
Oh, yeah, I hate London. No, no, I'm just kidding. No.
Tipton?
Like,
London
Tipton? No. No, that's you're off the mark with that for sure. There's no way.
No,
because taking them out is fun. Taking them out of that environment is fun. Like what they did in She-Hulk with Daredevil going to California, that's fun. Like that's a cool idea. Take him out of his element.
No,
that's fun. That's a good concept.
Okay.
But like, it's
always a good concept.
It was kind of. It's not even about the venue that you even brought that up. It's more of just how things played out. Like, where did that crush on MJ come from? What do you call it? Ned and what's Betty aside, because I didn't like them in that either. I don't like that dynamic.
It was a funny little comedy gag.
Like, I didn't like the random love triangle they threw him in with that Chinese kid and MJ and him. What do you call it? I like that she knew he was Spider-Man already. Yeah, because she was kind of watching him forever, you know, being a little creepy stalker about him. But that kind of makes sense if she's just if she was crushing on him or whatever, so on and so forth. But like a lot of that movie just doesn't play out, and then they just repeat what the first one did, which was teach him responsibility while also sticking him in Iron Man. Because a lot of people after that were like, "Oh, is he gonna be leading the Avengers? Is he the next Iron Man?" So on and so forth.
Yeah, so I seen those rumors going around, but they didn't know that Sony owns the rights, so that's never gonna happen.
Yeah. They're going to be like, you want to make my man front and center? $.
Yeah.
$.
Cha-ching.
Yeah.
Fucking Krusty Krab right there.
And then after that one was I would say that one probably split everybody. Because, again, that is like the bastard child. People are just like, I don't like it or I do like it. You know?
I literally believe it's because of the change of venue. I think, I feel, y'all can call me out if I'm wrong. I don't give a fuck. But if this movie took place exactly the way that it took place, but it was in New York City. Y'all motherfuckers would have ate that shit up so fast. But because it was out in a different venue, it was just too different for you guys. It was too much. It was too out of touch for what Spider-Man is supposed to be.
No.
And I think you guys associate the change of venue with trying to, dish it out to different things. Everything makes sense in that movie. There's not one thing that doesn't make sense. The only thing that doesn't make sense is the fact that they left on the field trip. Because in my head, I would have been like, Spider-Man wouldn't leave New York unattended like that. I think that he would have, if he were to take vacation, that would obviously have to happen like when Miles Morales were to come out or something like that. Or when the Avengers, when he feels like he can probably take that vacation. But I guess you can argue the Avengers were around by Far From Home, so I don't know.
No. Tony was dead. New York didn't have anybody but Daredevil apparently. So, but yeah, no, that's not it. But back to what I was saying. After this one was so like panned and split, they were like, "Damn, how do we get everyone to watch the next one? How do we split that bill?" And then they were like, everyone was like, "Well, they love Toby. People love Andrew. People love Willem Dafoe, and they kind of liked Electro." And they love Doc Ock. So they were like, well, let's just put this bitch with nostalgia and send it on its way. That's why it involves all that third stuff. And then they were like, well, how do we use those two to push Tom Holland forward? And then, they make Aunt May say the line, and, that's catalyst to keep pushing forward. But yeah, no, this movie did not shape out to be a whole trilogy. He just picked that bitch up and ran with it. There's no way.
Nah, you sound like a hater, bro.
No.
And that last
everything I say sounds like a hater. I'm telling you the truth.
The last thing where you were like, no. Everything else I can kind of be like, okay, I give you a pass. But that last little bit where you were like, oh, they didn't have any other route to take Spider-Man in. No, there's no way.
You know how I could tell you right now how they could have shaped this movie around Tom Holland way better.
How?
Okay, they already established that he's been in the game for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Shocker was still alive. Vulture was still kicking.
Yeah.
Scorpion that they threw him in the end credit scene, did nothing with him. They could have done a Sinister Six with those three. Give a little side plot to the lesser known characters. Maybe add in a Rhino who's just pissed off that he was, thrown in jail, whatever. Like, establish them in a third way, and then just make them attack that little fucker, and then, push him in that development. Kill Aunt May still if you really wanted to make it that way. Give him the line, but you used Willem Dafoe's Goblin to help push that catalyst, and it's just, well, people are now like, oh, the Goblin's a better villain to Tom than he was with Toby, and I'm just like, well, shut the fuck up, because he didn't have his own Goblin or whatever. I don't know where they're going to take him. I don't even know if a Norman exists, but now he's just going to awkwardly associate that Norman to the alternate Norman he met. Multiverse shenanigans. But no, there's no way.
I will say that No Way Home should have never happened. I think multiverse movies are messy, and like you said, it is going to create a big mess down the road later on. You're going to see the repercussions of that later, unless they totally ignore it. Well, then you're going to have a lot of blowback from the fans and everything like that too. I agree with you. I would have personally liked, this kind of Spider-Man goofing off, like kind of what happened in Homecoming, where he just got all these bank robbers that were stealing from the store, stuff like that, these little things. By the second one, like I said, if they would have kept the venue at in New York City, they could have totally had like Vulture being like the beginning villain or something like that, and then build up to something else differently, but have him be that villain that he needs to capture in the beginning of the movie kind of thing, But I don't know. They could have went a different way. I just think they played ball with whatever was served up with the MCU at the time, and I think he basically played ball with all three movies with whatever he was served at that time, because Homecoming, that one came out after Civil War, so whatever happened in Civil War has to completely connect to this one, right? And then they gave Spider-Man to a different director, Joe Russo. Whatever happens with this Spider-Man, he needs to pick up the pieces from that one, you know what I mean? So then boom, Far From Home happens, and then right after that, No Way Home happens. So that's what I'm saying. That one's kind of like the two-parter where you can kind of judge him on. But by then, we were already served. Oh, no, it was Endgame, then No Way Home. So it was kind of like whatever they served up is what they served up, and he had to basically pick up the pieces from there. So I can kind of have a little sympathy for him. I personally enjoy this trilogy. I don't have that same harshness to Far From Home like you do. Homecoming was okay. If I want to get real controversial, No Way Home, Far From Home, Homecoming. But it is what it is. That's just me.
I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I ranked them, No Way Home, Homecoming, then Far From Home would probably be last. Yeah. But I don't see him as a trilogy about his origin. That doesn't sit right with me as a label at all. I feel like he just heard that floating around, like I said, and he just picked it up and ran.
Well, we can agree to disagree. Like I said, at this point in juncture, I think it's just, did he intend this or did he not intend this? Mm-hmm. And if he did and he's taking credit, good for him. But if he didn't and he's taking credit, well, you're lucky it lined up for you.
Basically,
you know?
Yeah.
Because
you're basically, some fans took it that way and gave you that option to run with it, because he was quiet about that bitch for a minute.
You know what, I would say I thought it was kind of what he was trying to do too, since the beginning. I personally thought, because they didn't have an origin story for him, so I thought that they were gonna do some bullshit where I thought it was gonna be just the 2 first movies and then he was gonna wind up going to college kind of thing, because I thought after the blimp I thought they were gonna make him age. I didn't think they were gonna start where they stopped. So I don't know if that, like I said, I don't know if these movies are also kind of like casual collateral damage to what Endgame and Infinity War did, because
the grander scale of things.
Yeah, he had to like make it fit. You know,
same with James Gunn and Guardians 3 and all that.
Yeah. So who knows what these movies could have been. Same thing with Wakanda Forever. R.I.P. Chadwick Boseman, but it could have been something different. But at the same time, he had to play ball with the MCU and the death of Chadwick Boseman. So it's just, it comes out a little bit messy, but I guess he picked up the pieces where he needed to. Moving on, though, Joe Rogan coming out and speaking about the Barbie movie, saying that it's a polling for all these, I guess, conservative networks coming out saying that it's anti-patriarchy, misogynistic, yada, yada, yada. But he's talking to Post Malone. So
he's talking to Posty?
Yeah, so it's a good little clip. I thought we can watch it and react.
If it has Post Malone, I'll watch anything. It's fine.
Posty?
Yeah.
Did you see that? I just seen it recently, but it was the Last Meals on YouTube.
Yeah.
I seen his Last Meals. It was like canes and like a lot of cheese items.
He had a steak and all that.
Mozzarella sticks, all that. I was like, damn. Frosted Flakes was his dessert. I was like, that's odd. I would have got like an apple pie or something.
Yeah. I like watching those. Shout out Good Mythical Morning, I guess.
What is that, Thursday?
Well, yeah, it's like under their company.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Kitchen or whatever.
I just ran into it like a couple days ago, so I've been kind of into them.
They do it with a bunch of people. They do it with. They recently did one with Bryan Cranston too. So they have a bunch of people on there.
Yeah, I only ran into Post Malone, so I gotta keep checking it out. But I'll get into it. But let's get into this first.
Did you see the Barbie movie?
No, I have not. No, sir.
A lot of people are upset about the Barbie movie, and I left perplexed.
Did you see it?
Yeah, it was a fun movie.
Was it good?
Fun, silly movie about dolls who come to life. But it's, a lot of it is about the patriarchy.
Sure.
And, it's a comedy. It's a comedy about dolls.
Sure.
But people are like, people are upset that it's this, like progressive metaphor for life, that it's, that they're pushing progressive politics in this. I'm like, it's a fucking doll movie.
Yeah.
It's a doll movie.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie about dolls who come to life and try to interact with the real world. And there's this lady in it who's this mom who, spoiler alert, who makes Barbie feel sad because she's playing with Barbie and she has sad feelings. It's a fucking interesting movie. It's like, because I was like, wow, this is an original movie. Like, no one's ever done a movie like this before. It's not like anything else you could say. It was a bizarre movie, but it was a fun, silly movie. I laughed. But at the end of it, I was like, how did people get outraged at that? Like, they were saying it's I know some people personally who said it's anti-men. I'm like, no, it's making fun of dorks. It's making fun. It's fun. You didn't think it was fun? Like, if that was a real person, that happening to them, isn't that fun?
Well, Margot and Ryan are just like amazing.
Amazing together in that movie too.
I have to see it. I want to see it, and I just haven't.
I enjoyed it. I just didn't understand why people were getting so upset. Like, do you think that's you? Are they making fun? Are all men in this one? Are we going to do this thing where we put all men as men? It's one category. We're not going to judge people as individuals.
Right.
We're going to pretend that these individuals in this mill, who are clearly dorks because they're designed to, it's fun. That you don't think like what happens to them and the way it happens isn't like fun. Like, I don't understand, like, why people think that represents all men. It's the dumbest sort of.
How does it like? What was the? So you said it's
people
like
get upset
anti-men.
They think
what
it's
happened?
a super woke movie, and that's the way to make that movie.
It's also a fucking movie.
But it's
a
also a movie
movie
about how Barbies are the dolls that everyone cares about, and Ken is just a fucking accessory, which is real. So when you bring these things into a movie and you make them real life Barbie land, that's how they have to be, because that's how it is in the real world. Like that's the movie.
Right.
And then the movie, they go to the real world, and the real world sucks, and it's run by men. And so this is what people are saying makes this an anti-men
That's a good concept,
movie.
though.
It's a fucking fun movie, man. I don't get it. I'm appalled at how easily outraged so many people are. I could see if you don't like it. I could see if it wasn't your kind of movie. But that's anything that someone creates.
To be honest, to be fair about that, like, it's also like, you said it's not your kind of movie. It's also the Barbie movie.
Right.
You have to kind of, kind of like, you can't go in there walking so seriously about it.
Right. Why would you go to see AC/DC if you fucking hate AC/DC?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're like into classical music.
It's just to make fun of Brian Johnson. Be like, you're no Bon fucking Scott, man. You know that. I'm scared of that shit. I'm scared that people buy tickets to come and make fun of me. That's my biggest fear. That's my biggest fear. I haven't seen it yet, and hopefully don't do that. But it's all right because I still sold a ticket.
Yeah,
I love Post Malone. He's just a wholehearted like sweetheart. Like
he's a good vibe.
He's nice. We haven't seen the Barbie movie, obviously.
No.
But I see these things everywhere. We talked about it before. Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
You know, all the conservative media is talking about it, and this is not just about the Barbie movie for me. This is about all movies, and I don't mind, kind of like when me and you, like, we sit here, we talk about movies. I want to hear your opinion as much as, you know, I don't know how eager you are to hear my opinion.
Depends on how dumb it is.
I swear to God, boy. So I just don't like when people walk into a movie, right? They know it's not their cup of tea. They know it's not their movie. They go into that movie just to shit on it, bro. Just to dog on it. Just to, you know, like how you said, like those hate watchers, the ones that watch Velma just so they can shit on it and do all that stuff. And to me, why are you shitting on somebody else's good time? You know, you see it on Twitter all the time. Zack Snyder's movies, whatever. Oh, he makes ass movies, whatever. He doesn't know cinema, blah, 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 blah. Like, why do you care? And what are the movies that you're watching? Because it sounds to me like you're just watching the movies that we're watching just to hate on it. Basically. You know, Ben Shapiro going into a movie knowing that he doesn't like feminism, stuff like that. You're going to expect a little bit of woman power in a women's movie. You know, it has Barbie in the title. And to his point, too, Ken is the side piece. Yes. So, obviously, the big person that's going to be propped up is Barbie and her problems. So, you're going to see a lot of women tings in a woman movie. It's Oppenheimer, you're not going to expect Barbie to pop out in Oppenheimer.
Like, you're not gonna walk into a romance movie and be like, "What the fuck? This movie has romance in it." You know what I mean? That's dumb.
Ugh.
That's dumb.
Fucking hate relationships.
I expected, you know, whatever else. Like, no, that the movie is called this. You should be expecting something like that.
You're not gonna expect Anakin Skywalker to go watch Dune.
Yeah, he'd hate that shit. A movie about sand, it's not gonna work.
He'd rage.
Yeah, but. It's really dumb. And, you know, I know they're heavy politicians or whatever. They have their views and stuff. But I honestly, there's a time and place for that shit. And I don't think you should be going to a movie with your brain set like that and thinking, this is attacking the patriarchy. I can't wait to rant about this to my something followers on the Republican side, but so on and so forth. And I'm just like, how can you enjoy anything at that point if you're stuck on a business mode? You're shitting on the movie, the experience, you know, depending on if you bought the ticket or if someone else bought the ticket, you're shitting on their good time too. Like I know he has like a wife or whatever. I don't know how accurate that is. But like you're bringing these people out and you're looking to have a shit time together. Like, oh man, that movie was so ass because it had so on and so forth. You're going to look at them like, you goofy fuck, it's called this.
you know exactly what you're going to get in a movie. And I know that we come on here and we'll say whether a movie's good or bad, but we share our opinion not based on the message alone, but as the whole movie as general. Yeah. And that's why I always tell you too, where it's, you know, because Ben Shapiro, they only watched half the movie, and they're over here going on a full ass rant. You know, people that say they only watch 15 minutes of a movie and they go on a full ass rant. You know, they don't even have the decency to watch the whole film, but they'll drag it across town. You know, they'll be like, it's misogynist, it has patriarchy, whatever. If you're gonna talk shit about something, you need to watch everything the whole way through, even if it's a waste of your time or whatever it may be. You got to watch it all the way through, and then on top of that, be able to be honest about it. If you're just being like, oh, patriarchy, because, you know, Joe Rogan, he said, you know, a couple of his friends said that, you know, you are the company you keep. So if you're hanging around people that are like, feminism's bad, obviously from those people you're going to hear that it was, you know, you're going to hear in that group, oh, patriarchy, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it's a Barbie movie. It's a movie. That's what it's for. And obviously the message is to empower women. It is a woman, like, it's literally a woman movie. It's pink. It's pink.
A lot of pink in there. I don't know. I know a lot of those people are smoking packs, and while I do find politics boring yet necessary, there's a time and place for that shit, as usual. And you could totally analyze a movie like this, but it has to be productive. It has to be something thought-provoking, not just, oh, well, that movie was aight, but I hated it because it didn't push my political agenda. Like, why would you give two fucks about that in a Barbie movie for any less, you know? There's just a time and place for that sort of shit. It should be left at the door.
100%. It's, I don't know why it needs to be said. I get Joe Rogan's like point of view, because I be hearing people, I have, you know, people I work with that, you know, have certain views. They go into a movie and then they rant about how bad it is because they hear it from other people with those views on the internet and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I mean, if you didn't like the movie, I mean, it sucks, but you wasted a ticket. I wasn't out here fucking complaining for a week when I watched The Flash. Like, I can't believe I fucking paid my ticket for The Flash. It's like, I mean, I knew I was walking into some shit, but I didn't know it was that much shit.
No. Well, that's not. To be fair,
I hope we get a commercial later on down the road where it's like, if you watched The Flash back in 2023,
you deserve compensation.
You deserve compensation for your time. I can't wait. Can't wait.
The only time, okay, The Flash rocked me to my core in a bad way, so of course I was bitter about it.
Little Mermaid
also. But, you know, I think that's right in only a sense of you lost out on the experience and it didn't give you what you were looking for. So, of course, you're going to feel kind of bad, you know what I mean? But, yeah, eventually you're just like, well, it is what it is. The movie was ass. I'm ready to live on with my life and watch the next one. Hopefully it's better than what I watched previously. And that's just kind of how it goes. But you don't watch, like if you just watched The Flash up until you saw, I don't know, before he decides to run back in time. You didn't watch the movie. You were like, ugh, I don't like this at all.
Yeah.
You didn't even get to the important stuff. You got a little bit of entertainment, a few bad jokes, bad cameos, and then you were like, well, I'm done. I don't want to watch the rest of this. I know what to expect. But you didn't expect anything because you kind of stopped before you even got to the good shit.
It's kind of like,
quote unquote, good shit.
In a way, too, it's kind of like, shout out to my best friend Nessa, but she did that, too, where she was watching Flash. She said she dozed off in the first few minutes, and then, like, you know, she was proceeding to talk to me about it, and I was talking to her about it, and I was like, she was like, oh, I don't remember that. I was like, oh, it happened around this time. She's like, oh, I fell asleep. I was like, well, you know.
Of course you're not going to.
Yeah, of course you're not going to know. So, I mean, it is what it is. You know, we get it. Everybody has an opinion. We have our opinions as well. But don't beat that shit to death, man. And Joe Rogan talking about it here on the podcast, but for people to actually just in casual conversation, because I hear it happen at work too, is just, oh, it's this, it's that, it's blah, 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 blah. It's like, man, it's a movie. This is the most unserious topic. Like, if you're really trying to battle the feminism or whatever, go do that on the streets. You know, I'm not saying punch women or anything like that, but, you know, fight it in a different way.
What rights? Like, like it's dumb, and yeah, it's not a good way to talk about movies, especially, like I say, wow, like even when I catch you watching those videos, the Cosmonaut or whatever the fuck he's called, and he's just shitting on movies, and it isn't like CinemaSins, because CinemaSins is satire. I know that that's meant to be funny, you know, cliche every few dings, whatever. That's meant to be funny. But Cosmonaut, he actually tries to bring up points to why things are bad and this and that. So I don't know if it's satire, but I don't watch him. All I know is that when I walk in, I'm like, why are you watching like this thing talking about, you know, because I think you've seen it on movies you like, right? Like he talks negatively about it, and I'm like, no, there's no point in that. There's no, like, I know he does it for clicks and views, but I prefer to talk about things I enjoy rather than things I don't like, because the things I don't like, why would I waste another idea remembering that shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, like, I know we're talking about The Flash, we just brought it up, but that's just history in DC. That'll forever be a shit stain on it, you know?
Yeah.
But why talk about The Flash when we could be talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League and the peak of DC or whatever, depending on how you view it. You know, that's just kind of how it goes. Like, I know if I looked at Ben Shapiro's YouTube, he'd have like 15 videos breaking down Barbie, just the 15 minutes that he saw, whatever the fuck he watched.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and I mean, you had said something, and I was gonna make a point on it. Fuck. But yeah,
The cosmonaut stuff?
Yeah, the cosmonaut stuff. So with that, I watch all the, like, I like to know, I already talked about it before, but I like to know all sides of the angles. You know, if he's shitting on a movie, I want to know why he's shitting on that movie. And then I could be like, nah, bro, like, you, that's not it. That's not it. Or if he makes a good point, I'll be like, well, you know, I can see, fair point. But I like to be able to do that, so when, you know, obviously when conversations like this happen, I'm able to have a rebuttal to certain things. But I'm not going to go ahead and rebuttal misogynistic, feminism, whatever, blah, 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 yada, 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 whatever they want to.
At that point, it's political.
Yeah, at that
you're
point,
just like, dog, that was a movie. This is this movie.
Yeah, you're trying to make it real, and it's like, no, I just want to talk about the cinema aspect. Like, what did it do for this movie? Did it help the movie? Did it not help the movie? Was I able to be out of reality while I was watching this movie? You know what I mean? I don't need to be like, and maybe they could see it like that too, but we don't need to hear that extra stuff. That's just way too much. But it is what it is. They're gonna hate. Haters gonna hate all the time, and we're gonna keep talking about it. It is what it is. People are gonna have their opinions. Moving on though, we got also word that a 13 Ghosts series adaptation is happening. We had the 1961. That one's the oldest, the very first 13 Ghosts. Then we had the remake back in 2001. And now here we are at the point where we're going to be basically getting another adaptation from Dark Castle Entertainment. It will be a TV series. They want to make it an AR TV series where you're able to use your phone to keep up with ghosts, but also every episode is going to be about a different ghost. 13 episodes. Fear the Walking Dead SFX supervisor is on board. No cast yet. Obviously, we're in a strike. So the producers and the directors are talking about this as well. Yeah. And the synopsis for this movie and the pictures that were basically pitched, if this thing wants to load. So it says, every culture in the world has its ghost stories, and this reimagining of 13 Ghosts presents an international sampling of these supernatural tales. The ghost stories within each episode will have their own stylistic look and feel that will be explored and influenced by each individual director. This makes our ghost vignettes stand out and stylistically as they set the theme for each episode.
That sounds kind of cool.
It does.
I like that aspect of each director kind of taking a spin on the ghost. That's cool.
Every episode will be 45 minutes. Not bad. And then we got pictures for it. This looks like what's his name? He came out in Fist Fight, and he was in
Brad Pitt.
That's not Brad Pitt. He was in Fist Fight.
Oh, Fist Fight.
The nerd against Ice Cube.
Oh,
the teacher.
Charlie Day.
Yeah, Charlie Day. There you go. That's Charlie Day right here, and you can see back here. It's
I thought you said Fight Club.
Shaggy. What's the name? Leonard. Matthew Leonard. Matthew Leonard's character. So I don't know if it says right here from the desk of Dennis Rafkin, and you can see the tomb and the machine that was used in the 01 movie. And it says Dennis was enormed with the scientific potential, but he was never a true believer in the life of teachings of Basilius. I did not foresee his treachery, however. Cyrus Criticos. And so I don't know, maybe that's going to be, maybe this adaptation might be a continuation of the original one, and maybe this might be
whatever they journaled or logged in is what they're going to be exploring,
basically. And then we have another one where it looks like it's what's his name? The Hunger Games King.
Oh, I don't know.
Forgot his name.
Don't know those movies too.
Yeah, a little watch right here. A few of the symbols from the and the big old circle from the '01 movie, and then in the last one you just see the princess with the crime scene and bidding and her in the tub. So if you guys want to check that out, it's on Horror Geek Life. They shared the photos, and comicbook.com has the article as well. So if you guys want to check that out as well. But the photos look pretty neat. So I would just say go shout out to Horror Geek Life. Go check them out. They have all the scoops as well.
Yeah.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
I, for one, am down for a horror. I don't know how well. I really liked how Chucky came out, and that was a TV adaptation, and they didn't skimp out on blood. I mean, it's not as bloody as you would see in a rated R movie, but they do it with what they can.
Enough for TV stuff.
Exactly. So I don't know how well they can do with this one. If you've seen the '01 version, you know that shit gets bloody and pretty disgusting. So you remember the '01?
I don't think
It's been forever.
Yeah, no, it's been forever.
Yeah. Too long.
Yeah, I'd have to rewatch it, but I don't think I want to. No, but that sounds cool. I'd be down for this. I honestly, the thing that reels me in is the different adaptations of the ghosts.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I imagine all anthologies should be. Like a different director just comes in, does his job, does it his way, and then boom, it cements that, and then the next one's done differently. I love that. That's a
kind of like
idea.
Visions and all that.
Yeah, that's a good ass idea.
I think it's a fitting idea, especially for this kind of movie, because every single ghost has a different story in the '01 version. They briefly touch up on it through the book, but it was really not they don't really dive deep. So in a 45-minute episode, I'm assuming that they can really get up in there, let us know the ghosts. I'm hoping that every episode is going to have like an overall leading up to something by the end of the series, and not just be
Avengers Ghost.
pitch. I just don't want it to be just like, me personally, I just don't want it to be just ghosts. Basically a documentary about ghosts. I don't want it to be a documentary about ghosts. I want to know about them. I want them to dive deep into them and how they ended up where they are and how they are, but I want at least some kind of payoff by the end of the show.
Yeah, I'd imagine they would, especially if it is a TV show, and they're going to be setting up another season depending on how it does. But I'd imagine it would. So I don't think there's much to worry about. Unless it's just like it's just the IP and they're using it to push like a hunting ghost show like those ones on TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think so.
Exciting times. Like I said, horror is making a comeback. I think it's going to stay for good. I think they found out there's enough freaks out there that really are eating this shit up. I is freaks. I eat it up. Very exciting stuff. Cannot wait. But for our last topic of this episode, we hear from Nia DaCosta herself saying that the Marvels is different because it's wacky and silly. Oh God.
That's not a good look.
So her full quote is, "The biggest difference from the MCU movies to date is that the Marvels is really wacky and silly.
Yeah.
The worlds we go to in this movie are worlds unlike others you've seen in the MCU, bright worlds that you haven't seen before." And I'm so tired of this crap, bro. I was really excited, but she kind of really brought the excitement down for me in a way that
it's not good.
Man,
that's a terrible way to talk about your movie, honestly. Like, you want to bring in audiences, and while this is a woman-led film, you would think you would also want older people to want to be enjoyed it, because I mean, obviously you're gonna have the adults that grew up with the MCU still checking it out or whatever, but like teenagers as well, the ones that saw Miss Marvel and whatnot. Like, this is not how you market a movie. You shouldn't ever call something like that wacky or silly. That turns off so many adults. You're just like, well, at that point I'm not really invested. Like, I don't really give two fucks, because those words alone just tell me you're so unserious about it.
That I agree. But also, too, hearing a wacky and silly movie from the MCU, it really doesn't spell different. It doesn't say, hey, I'm
unique.
Yeah, we're really going to... Eternals. Unique. That was different. I know a lot of people shat on it for whatever reason. I firmly believe as an MCU movie, it probably was obviously going to get that kind of treatment. But as a solo movie
Yeah.
as it probably should have been, because nobody has addressed the giant celestial that is still coming out of the world. But as its solo movie, it would have been pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
As an MCU movie, it failed, unfortunately.
Yeah, in the grander scheme of things.
Yeah, so that's the only one to date that I can think they actually did something different. Everything else has just been wacky and silly. Oh, somewhat of a fight. Bonk, they get knocked down.
Yeah.
Oh, woman power, and then then you get a fucking boo boo ass TV show called Secret Invasion that had nothing to do with.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, man. Miss Marvel was one of those two that I was like, what the fuck? Too bubbly, too colorful.
I don't know. I was looking forward to this movie though. So
desaturate it. No, just kidding. Don't. I'm not saying like Zack Snyder style it. It's just if we're looking for something different, I ain't looking for wacky and silly different. I'm looking for the spy espionage that we were supposed to get. The coming of age movie if necessary.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever else you guys can fucking ruffle up in the bag, but why does every single movie need to be told wacky and silly that comes out of the MCU? Goddammit, give me a little seriousness with it. Let me feel like there's some stakes, because as of right now, there is 0 stakes on the grill.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look good for this movie right out the gate, and it's all because the director kind of shot it in the foot.
They said the director was like, "Oh, a lot of people are hyping it up, like it is actually gonna do well. Let me just
clip its wings real quick."
Right. Let me just snip.
Unfortunate. This movie comes out in September.
Still way
has enough time to maybe reel us back in with another trailer clip or something. But this is a terrible way to market and talk about your film. For sure. You can say it's a good time. It's fun. It has its moments.
I don't think it's a terrible way to market it. It's just, it's a terrible, to me, it's, well, I mean, I guess it's the situation that it's in. Because if this was any other movie and she said it's silly and wacky, you could have been like, okay, I'm going to go into this movie thinking that it's going to be a comedy or whatever. And you can go in there, walk out, whatever. Mm-hmm. But as a Marvel movie, as an MCU movie, as what is this, like the 26th installment in the Marvel Cinematic Universe or whatever?
Really?
It's something like that. I think they have like 32 projects.
No clue.
The Disney Plus shows really bumped up that number, I think.
Mm-hmm.
As that kind of movie, we already get silly and wacky. We don't want another one of those. We want something different. We need something different.
Yes.
And if we can't get nothing different, reboot the whole damn MCU at this point.
Time to start anew.
I say reboot. Get new cast members. Get new everything. Might as well. Maybe change up the roster of the Avengers. Don't have them need to be set up every single time.
If you're on the rights, you can do quite a bit of Avenger variations.
Yeah, put some X-Men up in there. Whatever. You got the X-Men now.
Something unique. You can make the
make
Fantastic
billions
Four.
of dollars.
You can make the Fantastic Four different. You know what I mean? Because there was a time where it wasn't the family we knew. There was Wolverine, Spider-Man, the Hulk, and Ghost Rider. You can do something unique.
Yeah, something different. But we want to go down the route of wacky and silly.
Unfortunately.
Woo, woo, woo. Squeeze the horn. Clown nose. Beep, beep, boop, boop. Come watch our another Marvel
colorful
product.
movie.
What do you call it? Conveyor belt movie.
Conveyor belt films, yes. Yeah. Unfortunate.
Another one fresh off the belt. Pretty soon in September, so at this point we'll wait for another trailer. Let's let Nia DaCosta just not promote this movie at this point.
Yeah.
At this juncture.
Feige, shut her up.
Please. We want MCU to do well so we can get the X-Men.
Yeah,
but it's not looking too good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, with that being said, that's gonna be our last topic for this episode. If there's any topics that you guys want us to discuss, anything that you guys want us to talk about that we haven't yet on this podcast, movie you guys want us to review, you guys want to be a guest on the show, you guys want more guests, if you guys want to support us in a big way, Josh, let them know where they can let us know.
Twitter, TikTok, Instagram at Filmbros Podcast. Let us know about any movies or news you want us to cover. Listen to us on the go anywhere you get your podcasts at Filmbros Podcast, on Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get them. Support us in a big way. Buzzsprout, links are in those bios I just gave you at Filmbros Podcast. Subscribers get special perks, content made only for subscribers, and you get shout outs on our episodes, so why not? And when it's all said and done, subscribe to our YouTube at Filmbros Podcast.
And with that being said, we'll talk to you guys on the next one.
Talk to you guys later.